Hi everyone, I'm Tracy and welcome to today's video. So I was so motivated and inspired to make this video because since I posted my last video, which was the using all of my blush brushes, I got like such an overwhelmingly positive reaction, and when I hear that you guys appreciate the content that I put out, it really motivates me to do more. And a couple of you did request that I do the bronzer brush version, and so that's what I'm doing. I actually filmed them all, and they're not as many as the blush brushes. I use them in different ways, and you'll see that some I use more in a contouring fashion, some I use as a like an all over like bronzing technique. I'm glad you guys enjoy this kind of video, and let's get started. So I'm going to do just on this side with the Hokuto, and because this brush it's so light, it's so soft, you know, you can kind of get it all over because it's not going to deposit a lot of pigment in one area. It's just going to do a little at a time. So hopefully that is better. And I always like lightly powder my face before I go in with a powder bronzer so that the product goes on evenly. So I think you guys can see this. And this is one that I recommend for those looking for a very gradual application, or for those of you who are very fair and just want to lightly apply your bronzer. So yeah, I really like the way things come out. And when you use a pure squirrel hair brush, it's generally how it's going to work out because of the hairs are so fine and flexible. All right, now the other side, I'm going to use the Hokuto G5544. Again, this is one of my favorite brushes to apply bronzer with. I have a light here that I need to look at. All right. And this one's angled, so I kind of position it that way and get it there. So both of these are good beginner brushes because, as you can see, it's just very gradually gonna get the bronzer on, so it's gonna be hard to overdo it with either one of these. The Hokuto and the Hakuhodo on this side. I recommend both of these for bronzer. Now I am going to demo the B512 and the 5542. The G5542. So this 5542 is the largest of the angled brushes that I have, and these are both phenomenal, and this is like a mid-size bronzer brush. If you want a little bit more control and a little bit more of a contouring effect, the B512 is good, and if you want a little bit of a more gradual bronzer look, the 5542 would be a great brush to have. So I'm going to do the 512 and then the 5542 on this side. And these Hakuhodo mixed hair angled brushes are some of my favorite brushes. They do bronzer great, they also do blush great, and they also could powder. And this was the first, I think this brush was the first bronzer angled brush that I really like fell in love with. Before I was like against angled brushes because I just didn't know how to use them. That was the main reason. But I use this one if like I don't have that much time to kind of build up the pigment, or if I want to kind of contour more with the bronzer. All right, and then I'm going to do the 5542 on the other side. So this one is just going to be a more gradual application. This is also a good beginner's brush because it's larger and it's very fluffy. So you don't have to worry about your brush like depositing a huge amount at once. Also, if you want to kind of bronze across the face and kind of all over, this is a really good one. Yeah, I really like the way this one came out. And this one, so both of these are just amazing for bronzer. All right, and then when I come back, I'm going to show the other mixed hair, Hakuhodo mixed hair brushes, the G6530 and the G502. And the G502 is, I think, the most luxurious, most expensive brush that will be in this video. And it is phenomenal, but you don't have to spend that to get a really great result. I really like the way the 6530 comes out. And I think this is like half the price. So because it's got that angle, I use this to kind of do somewhat of like a contouring effect. And I like how it can kind of fit close to the hairline like that. I loved how beautiful this brush does, like it will contour but without looking like you have contour on, and it's just I don't know, I just love it. I love the way, even blush, I just love the way everything comes out when I use this one. Alright, so now for the big 502. This is one of the I think one of the bigger brushes that I'll be demoing, and I pat with this one. I would say this one is a little bit on the dense side, so you should be able to like pick up a lot, and it'll be good if you are got more color in your skin. Not bad. So actually that came out really subtle. I have not used this for a little while, but you see the difference between using the first one? I think with this one it just looks more natural, more like I just got some sun. versus this one looks like more contoured, but both beautiful. I love both of these for bronzer. All right, and then I'm going to come back and do the final 2 Hakuhodo brushes for bronzer. All right, so the next 2, I'm going to be demoing the Hakuhodo K022 and the B510. I demoed the B510 for blush yesterday, and it makes a great blush brush, but also makes a phenomenal bronzer brush. And the K022, I wasn't going to include this because me personally, I don't like this brush because it's not dense enough to really get that pigment on my skin tone. But if you're lighter than me, you might really like this one, and it's also not terribly expensive. So if you're on a budget and you want to get one Hakuhodo face brush, this one is considerably less expensive than the other ones I'm talking about. So for those 2 reasons, I do want to show the K022, and this is, I think, my first Hakuhodo face brush. I think it was. And this is one of the brushes, I just want to tell you guys, that really got me into Fude, because when I got this brush, it was so flat and so unimpressive, and I was so disappointed. And I washed it, and then when I came back, it was like this, and I was just, I don't know, it just really interested me. And I just remember being like, just, I don't know, that, you know, when you learn something that just changes your whole opinion on something, this was one of those brushes. So I'm gonna put this in my Hoola bronzer and stop talking. Now it's going to take a little bit for this pigment to show up, and I stamp with this. And I suppose if you don't like it for bronzer, you can use it for powdering, like a light powdering. But another reason I don't like it is it's a little bit too big, and it's not specific enough. I prefer something that I can kind of, you know, contour a little bit with. And also it's just going to take, it takes a while for me to build up the pigment. And like when I have to do my forehead, it'll kind of get like most of my forehead. But yeah, it actually came out really nice. But I'm on the lighter side of my skin tone. I'm usually have a little more color. All right, now we're going to do the B510. This is Hakuhodo's most popular blush brush. And again, I pat with this one. And this one will do, I feel like this one's a little bit faster. Not super specific, but I can probably get a good bronze going with like 2 layers. I like both sides. I can tell I was able to kind of be a little bit more specific with the J110, whereas this side it kind of got a bigger area. But if that's what you're looking for, the K022 might be good for you. All right, so those are the Hakuhodo brushes, and then I'll come back. I have one more Hakuhodo brush that I want to show to you guys, and it's more of a contour brush, but I use it with bronzer, so I thought I would include it. All right, so the next 2 I'm going to be showing you guys is the Hakuhodo GC6, and just because I have another side and I feel like there's a lot of interest in this brush, it's also a very pricey brush. I'm going to demo the Hakuhodo B505. To be quite honest, I don't use this brush hardly ever. I think I might have used it 3 or 4 times for finishing powder, and the reason I don't use this is it's a pretty dense brush. So for my preference, a little dense for bronzer, but I know that a lot of you guys, you know, if you're interested in this brush, you definitely want to do your research. So I'm gonna demo this one on this side, and I think this would also be good to kind of contour more with your bronzer. And so that's pretty much what I do with this GC6 from Hokuto. And I did not like this brush at first because I didn't really know what to use it for, but since I've been contouring with it, I've been really enjoying it. And this is 100% gray squirrel, so it's very soft. It's gonna very gradually get that bronzer on there. So for me, it fits into this area really nicely. So this is not really a bronze that I'm doing. This is just contouring. But the size fits into these areas really well. So yeah, if you want to kind of like chisel your face out, then this one's really good for that. Now, I don't think I've done this before, so I apologize if it's not going to come out very well, but since we're doing this, I'm going to kind of get the product more at the tip of the brush and kind of contour that way. So I like how that came out. I think it put that product on, you know, fairly strong, but in a very even way. I think I'm gonna have to wash my face after these two because my face is getting a little heavy. All right, so I'll come back with the Chikuhodo brushes. All right, I'm back, and I actually removed all of my foundation and reapplied. Also, it's evening, so the lighting might be a little different. Anyhow, we're gonna power through, and I'm gonna showcase this brush. I'm gonna use it on my entire face, just because this brush is very special. It's the Takumi T2 from Chikuhodo. The reason I want to showcase this one, it's not just because it's a, you know, amazingly crafted and high performing brush, but I feel like if you don't want to, you know, fork over the big bucks for the Hakuhodo mixed hair brushes, I think this is a really good alternative, and I would say less than, in some cases, half the price. I think when I bought this, it might have been like $65 or so. And so I wanted to really show you what this brush can do. Okay. So and normally with like a goat hair brush, I wouldn't be swiping like this, but because this brush is so light and fluffy, I'm comfortable doing that. I'm not worried about my base makeup lifting. And this is good for kind of getting a contoured effect, or if you kind of want to like bronze all over, this is really a good one. And also it works very fast. So this will pick up a pretty decent amount and just so quickly, you know, give you a nice bronzed look. My battery's going out. But I hope you guys can see what this brush can do, and without, you know, spending a ridiculous amount of money on your brush. All right, I'll be back with the other Chikuhodo brush. All right, so I have another amazing bronzer brush. I showed this one yesterday because it's also good with blush, but that is the Chikuhodo Z8, one of my all-time favorite brushes, and I'm gonna actually use this all over. Why not? I don't think I'm gonna get this video done today because it's already late. Now this is, it's slightly pinched. It's 100% gray squirrel, and it's going to take a little bit more time to build up the pigment, but I just feel like once you get the hang of this brush, it's actually not really a brush you need to get the hang of, but it just does so many things so well. Actually, I think it did that pretty quickly, because this is a fairly dense brush. It's not like wispy like the Hokuto GF2. So yeah, I think just 2 layers and I got a pretty nicely bronzed look. And I can't recommend this brush enough. Some of the Z series I'm a little hesitant, but with this one I'm not. So, and I've heard that from other people that their Z8 is always like perfect. So that is the Z8. You can definitely, you know, build this up and give yourself a more like chiseled look if you want. This is a good beginner's brush as well. All right, and then I don't have that many left. Should I power through? I only have 3 more that I want to show you guys. So let me get through 1 more. And these are going to be the Muragishi Sangyo My Sakura powder brush, and then a Koyuro, the Koyuro BP13, which I'm actually not sure if they still make that one, but while I'm off camera, I'll check. All right, I'm back, and I have good news or bad news, but the Koyuro BP13 is no longer available. And you might be able to find this on Fude Japan, but on CD Japan and Beautylish, I can't find this one. So, but it's okay. It's definitely not a must-have. Okay, so I guess this is going to be the last brush. I am going to go look through my collection and see if there's something I missed. I feel like I did miss a brush or 2, but this is the Muragishi Sangyo My Sakura powder brush. And I really want to show this one and shed some light on it, because I just really like this brush line in general, and the pricing is still, they're still priced pretty well. Let me just check. Yeah, this one is right now in CD Japan $64 in stock, and you're getting a really nice brush. The blush brush is only $48 right now, so this and the blush brush I think are great values. You have to get this on on CD Japan, I believe, but it's their, you know, bigger of the face brushes, and it works phenomenal for bronzer. So I'm going to do that all over. And this will bronze pretty quickly. So it is pinched. So I'm going to use it like this, kind of in a contouring fashion. And then maybe on the other side I'll do it more kind of all over. And then do this side. Okay, the last two brushes that I've used, I think are, no, not this, not the Z8, the T2 and this one. As far as value, I think these two are great values. You're getting a really high quality brush. This one is a mix of squirrel and goat, I think. So you're getting the same mix as those Hakuhodo brushes. This one's just dyed, so you can't see the different hairs. But, I mean, comparing it to the Hakuhodo pricing, I recommend going this way if you don't want to spend the big bucks. So, yeah, I really love the way this brush performs for bronzer. And this is going to be, yeah, this is my last one. So I'll just go all out. So I try to do it more kind of in a bigger area here and more in a contouring fashion on this side. Shoot. All right, and you know what, just because this is gonna do it for today. All right, so yeah, that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as the blush brush video. And you know, if there's a bronzer brush that you guys think is worth looking into, please let me know. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.